Hello, everybody. Disclaimer, that is as much of this song that I can probably do for the intro. Main reason is because I recorded this once already and I got my first copyright claim. So I've essentially made it on YouTube. I made it. I mean, it's just, I'm a professional YouTuber now. I'm quitting my job. I am actually, well, let's see. I think the day that this comes out will probably be my last day working at one of my two jobs. So, it's not wrong, I guess, right? I've made it. Yeah, I got my first copyright claim. So, I'm gonna try and do this one without trying to get another one. So, hello, welcome to Guitar with Gavin. We are looking at Like a Road, or I've seen it also be called Like a Road Leading Home, whatever you want to call it. I call it Like a Road, and that's what we're doing today. So, written by Jerry Garcia. Actually, I think it was written by a guy named like Penn Nix, and then, I don't know. I tried looking this up, and I'm like, I've never gotten a copyright claim from doing a Jerry Garcia Band song that he has written, and then I was like, who the hell is copyrighting me? And then there's like a place that is doing it, and I try and look up who it's written by, and it's written by some guy, apparently by Penn Nix, and I'm like, is that just an actual, like, is that just a fake name? Is it a fake name? Because it sounds like a fake name. We nixed the guy who penned the song. I don't know. But I'm gonna break this down into like 4 parts. We're gonna have like our intro, we're gonna have the verse, which is just kind of like the first couple of lines, and then we're gonna have the turn around section, and then Like a Road section, right? So let's just jump on into this. Intro is pretty simple. We're gonna go G into a B minor, into a C chord. And so that G to B minor is just one bar, right? So G, 1, 2, walk it into B minor for 3 and 4. That walk in is just A string, 0, 1, 2. So. And then we hold C for 4 counts, right? Or a full bar, whatever you want to call it. And then we get into just that quick little like riff section. So the way that goes is we're gonna go G for 2 counts again. G, 1, 2, F on 3, C on 4, and then back to G. So we have. And then that G, that last G, we're just going up for another measure. So that first whole intro G, B minor to C, to G, F, C, G. And I've heard variations of this where they've done that C for kind of like I've heard them do it for like 2 measures. I've heard them like for the introduction before they get into it, they're just holding down to G, doing like some G sus4, and then they jump into that. So it just depends on the version. But now we can get into the first 2 lines of our verse. So when the road gets too long and you run all out of song and the pain gets too much for you to bear. Hopefully I can do that. I mean, I didn't really do it with a melody in mind. I try to keep it monotone and at a time so no one gets mad at me. So we'll figure this out. So it starts off very similar. We're gonna go G to B minor. It's just that same bar 1 as our intro. And then bar 2 is the same, C. And we do that twice. So G, B minor to C. Repeat. G, B minor, C. Now we're gonna go, it's very similar to this next bar, right? We're gonna go G, and I still can lock this in, but we do a B major. So G, B major, right? So it's a little confusing. G, B minor, C, G, B minor, C, G, B major. And then we go to an E chord. And you can totally do these all as power or open chords. I really like going to this E power chord or E bar chord. And then we're gonna go to an A bar chord. And then they do a walk up into a D chord. And there are multiple ways you can do this. You can go C, or so A string, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. You can even do a kind of a more major sounding scale, like an O2-4. You can go 2-3-4, whichever one, walk it up. But this D, so we're doing it for a full bar. We're gonna start off with the D suspended 4. Oops, that was kind of bad. Let's just do it this way. And so all I'm doing is I'm doing a D bar chord and I'm doing my pinky on the 8th fret of the B. And I just do it for 2 beats. 1, 2, back to, and then just a regular E. Take my pinky off, 3, 4. If you're doing this as open chords, we're gonna have just a D open chord, and then pinky on the 3rd fret of our high E. 1, 2, take it off, 3, 4. Whichever one is easiest for you to do, right? If you're doing this as open chords, you know, you have your E, open E, then we go to an open A, to an open D with our pinky on, take it off. So that is our verse. So I'll do a quick little playthrough and then we'll get into the turnaround. So. There we go. So now we're getting into the turnaround. How can I sing that without doing the melody so I don't get in trouble? Turn around. I don't know. I still did it. I just went down. Okay. But anyways, we start on a C. And we just do this for a full bar. Every single one of these chords, it's going to be 4 chords. We're doing them for a full bar. So C to a G. Now this is, I'm gonna put a little asterisk here. I have listened to like 5 versions of this song, and I always hear them go to a B major. Whichever one, however you play it, it doesn't matter. I've always heard it be a B major. I've looked up things online that say it's a B minor, but every live version that I've heard of the song, they go to a B major. So I'm teaching this as a B major. So once again, we have a C to a G, B major, it's back to C. So the turnaround part, 4 chords, C, G, B, C. Now, like a road. So we go from our C of turnaround, the very last one, we're gonna go to a G. Then we go, so once again, a full bar on this G. Then we're gonna go to a D. And then on the leading home, we go back to G and do our little riff, right? So G, 1, 2, F, C, G, 2, 3, 4. So, that whole like a road part. G to D, G, F, C, G. That is the entire song, right? So hopefully we've made it through the entire song without getting in trouble. Well, let's pray. So let's talk about, oh, I do want to show you this. So we have obviously this F to C G part. You can do it with triads, you know, 3, 2, and 1. This is 3 on the D, 2 on the G, and 1 on the B. And so you can go there, you can do an open C to an open G. If that's easy for you, you can go that little, I call this a cheater F, but I'm just not, right? I'm like, it's a great thing to know. It's your Hendrix. Perfect, right? It's awesome. But we go from this little F, and then we can do a little triad here, which is going to be 5 on the G, B, well, D, G, and B string. There you go. And then we do that little cheater F, or a little G triad. We're just going to do it a whole step, right? A whole step up from where we were here. So F, this little 5 triad, and then a G, which is just going to be 5 on our D, 4 on the G, 3 on our B. Another one that I'm going to show you real fast, and then we'll move on to some soloing. So we have an F right here. And so what that is I'm barring the 5th fret on the D, G, B, and E. I'm putting my ring finger on the 7th fret of the D and my middle finger on the 6th fret of the B. So if you strum those 4 strings, that's an F. If we take these 2 fingers off, we have a C. If we just ignore that high E, right? And then I can go into that little G triad right there. So it's totally up to you, whatever your preference is, that sounds good. Like, there's lots of different ways you can throw all these in there, really get funky with it. Oops. That one sounded bad. But I'm just saying, you can, play around with them. So now, let's talk a little bit about soloing here. And it kind of depends on what part of the song you are soloing over. If you are soloing over the verses or the intro, because I've heard it go multiple ways with them doing this. To me, the most important part about soloing over this is following the chords and following the thirds. So Jerry usually starts the solo with kind of this little, oops, or some kind of, he's doing a little walk up into that G note, and then he's getting fancy after that. So what I'm doing there is G string, 7, 8, 9, and then 8th fret on our B. That 8th fret right there is our G note. And then we have to go quickly into our B minor chord, right? So I kind of like doing that, either slide into the 12th fret on the B, or you can bend into it. What's really nice is it's the third, the major third of a G chord, and then it's obviously the 1 of our B minor chord. So without sounding like gravity. But you can do that. Our minor third of B minor is on the 10th fret of our high E. So however you can get there, we're just kind of doing G major pentatonic right now. There's another one that I like even more, and that is on the 7th fret of our G. That is also the minor third. So do that. And the reason why I like this minor third a lot is because we walk it up a whole step. That is the major third of the C chord, which comes next, right? Or if you're up here, the 12th fret on our high E is the major third of our C chord. So, G, B minor, into C. Maybe throw in a little double stop. You can make it a little C9. And then we go, so that C9 kind of thing is just doing I'm barring the 8th fret on our B and E, and I'm hitting the 10th fret on the high E. And then if we go 8th fret on the B and the 7th fret on the E, we have a little G dyad right here. Kind of thing, right? And then if we move that up and kind of, or let's see, we can go kind of get that walk-up effect, right? And I'm going 8 on our high E, 10 on the B. I'm just going to walk it up half steps into a B minor dyad, right? So we have that. I mean, lots of cool little stuff around here. We're following chords. And then so now we get into some really cool things. And it's when we get into that B major, into E, into A, into D suspended 4, into a D. This is where I think things get really cool with the solo. And then we'll probably kind of end it off right there in this video. But, so, you know, G once again, right? What we want to accentuate here is the major third of our B. So that is found on the 8th fret of the G. And I love it there because it adds a lot of tension, and then a half step above that, that 9th fret on the G is the major, no, is an E note, right? So, and that's that B major chord into E. Or we also have it up here on the high E string, which I think is really cool. The 11th fret on the high E is our major third of the B chord. So G, and I can walk that up chromatically and hit that 11th fret when we get to the B. And then I go back a half step, 10, 11, 12 on the E. And that's an E note, right? Sounds really cool. You can also focus on getting like the major third of the E if you really want to, which is going to be the 9th fret on our B. So let's see, we're major third of the B. However, you know, or let's see, we can go like, we can go a half step down. It sounds a little jazzy, you know. It's just so cool. We're following these major thirds of the chords around. It just makes it really fancy. And so yeah, we have our E where we ended off. And now we can go into an A. So let's say we're right here on the 12th fret of the E. And we go down 3 frets to the 9th fret on the high E. That is the major third of an A chord. Or that E note is also the major, or is the 5th of the A chord, right? So if we hit that, and then we can do like a pre-bend. That's on the 12th fret of the high E. If that's pre-bent up a whole step, that's the major third of A. And bring it down to the 10th fret of the B, hit an A note, or bend it into that, right? And then now, what I really like here, we're on the 10th fret of the B, we're going to our D chord, right? Bring that, just walk it down chromatically, 10, 9, 8. That's the suspended 4th of our D suspended 4, right? And then we can even, now we bring it down a half step to the 7th fret, and that is going to be the major third of a D chord. And so other ways of thinking about this, you know, if you kind of get out of that following the major third, you're done kind of following the chords a little bit. You can also start to think of these as in other keys a little bit, right? So major, we go to the B major, we go to an E chord. Well, we can think of that as in the key of B major. That's a 1 to 4. We can think of it as in the key of E. That's a 5 to 1. That like perfect progression, or I can't remember what it's called. I can never remember it. And then it goes to an A, and that's still in the key of E major. You can also think of it now as in the key of A, because the E is the 5th of the A, right? That's the 5 chord in A. And then we get to a D, which is the 4 chord in the key of A. Foot's falling asleep. Obviously this video has gone on way too long. And so that D is perfect to really round this out, because while it is the 4 of an A chord, or it is the 4 chord in the key of A, it's also the 5 chord in the key of G. And so it kind of brings us back into G major, right? And so when you get into the next sections, and we're just going to continue on with G major, just accentuate that B major chord in the turnaround parts. So lots of stuff to think about, right? You can, like I said, you can think of this as in B major, and then we kind of followed an E chord right there, and maybe went E major. Let's see. A into a D, right? There's so many cool things that we can do, so many cool things. So that is Like a Road. It's so cool. It's such a cool song to solo over, and it's nice and slow to practice your chord changes. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys in there. I know that was very fast and a lot more talking than playing, but I apologize. If you stuck around for this, I apologize. Yeah, guys, that was Like a Road. Hopefully I didn't get any trouble for some copyright issues. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. I've posted lots of content, and I'm going to keep trying to keep putting stuff up. But if you have any requests, please put them down below, and I'll try and sneak them around and move stuff around to get them out there for you sooner. Yeah, happy jamming, guys. I appreciate it, and hope to see you next week. Peace out.